Okay.
That's it.
I'd like to call this meeting of the Whitfield County Board of Commissioners for April 11th, 2022 to order. I'd like to ask you that you please mute your cell phone, and all that are able, please stand for our pledge and our invocation led by Commissioner Robbins.
Let us pray. Our most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we just thank you for all the blessings you have bestowed upon us. We thank you for the opportunity to live in Whitfield County, such a beautiful place. And dear Father, we just thank you for the accomplishments that have been made this year, and we thank you for the reduction in COVID. Dear Father, we also pray for the stabilization of Ukraine and those folks. You're in charge. Dear Father, go with us as we direct and deliberate this meeting. Go with us and guide us. Forgive us where we fail you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. I pledge
Allegiance to the
flag
flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the record reflect we have all 5 commissioners present, and that meets our quorum. The commissioners and the public were made copy of the agenda approximately 7 days ago. We do have 2 additions. One is the Hill Road change order and a Regional 1 EMS appointment. Is there a motion to accept the agenda with those amendments?
Motion to accept.
Motion by Commissioner Staton. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. There is a consent agenda item tonight that is automatically adopted when we accept the agenda. Just a little explanation on that because we haven't had one of those before. When you're dealing with state budgets and auditors and controls, typically you vote for a budget at the end of the year. You vote for each individual item under the budget, but then you have to adjust or amend the budget the next month each time. So there's a lot of controls and balances. Frankly, that's not the way I do it in private business, but you, even if you're under budget or on budget, you still have to amend the budget with the actual expenditures. So we're trying to do a capture all. You'll see tonight we have a long budget amendment item for 2021 that we have to pass because we weren't doing this process. So it's kind of a new process just to kind of keep us clean with our auditors and our state legislators because we have to actually approve it twice for lack of a better explanation. So that's what the consent agenda is, just to cover us for the auditors. But all of those items have already been voted on and passed either 4-0 or 3-2, whatever the case may be, at a prior agenda. It's nothing new for this month. Those will all be voted on and discussed individually. The next item is approval of the minutes. Those were also provided with the agenda about 7 days ago, and that was our March regular BoC meeting. Was there any corrections or adjustments to the meeting minutes that anyone saw? Is there a motion to approve the minutes as written?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Staton. Any further discussion? All in favor of approval of the minutes, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. That passes on a 4-0 vote. All right, this is a part where we recognize our employee of the month, and he is part of the Whitfield County Sheriff's Office. Durad Martin, will he come forward with the sheriff? Nice to meet you. Sheriff, tell us a little bit about your detention officer. Oh, yeah, there's a camera right there.
Never know which way to face, but Sergeant Martin has been with the Sheriff's Office for about 17 years. He's assigned to our detention, our jail division, specifically the intake area where individuals who have been brought to the jail charged with a violation. He oversees his crew to book them, photograph them, fingerprint them, and all that if they can be released. They go through that process. If not, then we dress them out and take them to the housing area. In the intake area, it's an elevated platform. There's about 6 cell around, I think, the platform there. So they have to monitor and watch the inmates while we're doing this process, hold them and whatnot. There was an incident back in February where Sergeant Martin noticed that an inmate was having trouble breathing, struggling, standing a little bit. He checked with his employees, checked around, and realized that he had just finished eating. So he took it upon himself to administer the Heimlich maneuver, cleared the passageway, what we believe was stopped at that time, very likely saved the inmate's life, notified medical. They continued to monitor and watch the individual, so thank goodness he made a full recovery. But if it hadn't been for his quick thinking and his alertness and professionalism, things could have turned out much more tragic. So very professional. His employees that worked for him highly complimenting on his supervisory techniques and ability, but a good professional and another supervisor we're very proud of.
And usually everybody on their worst day of their lives, so that makes it tough, but we appreciate the job you do. Thank you so much. Yeah, Val is. You're another one of your great former employees. Thank you. All right, we have one proclamation, and that is for the National Day of Prayer on May 5th. We'll have a ceremony right outside of the courthouse on May 5th. I think we have maybe a slide on that, I'm not sure. Yes. So it was established in 1775, so basically this is going back to the beginning of our country as far as our tradition, and we honor it here every year in Whitfield County. And I just need a motion to accept the proclamation for the National Day of Prayer.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Thomas, second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. We also have a public hearing, so I'd like to call this public hearing to order. We have an application for a business owner on Doug Gap Road, aka Roadrunners, and Brenda Patel. Would anyone like to come forward wishing to speak about this alcohol and beverage permit? You can be in favor or against it, either one. Last call. Anybody who would like to make their way to the front? Okay, I'll declare the public hearing closed. I think that's the only one. Yep, now we move into our reports. So start with the chairman's report. We always cover our goals for the year, which have not changed, our strategic objectives from last year, which is to improve our meetings, make sure we're communicating and get citizens more involved in our monthly meetings, to modernize our operations as government and improve our employee engagement. We want to focus on better paying jobs, lower property taxes, and improve our relations with all the cities in Whitfield County. If you weren't able to attend or read about it in the paper, we did have our Riverbend Park opening, both Friday, and then we had games actually already there all day on Saturday. So I just wanted to provide this as an actual shot of the softball fields, although we can play soccer and football as far as youth there. The FIFA field is on the other side of the community center. And you can see we did dedicate the community center to Roger Crossan. I thought that was a really nice ceremony, and I want to call out our rec director, Brian Chastain, and Kent Benson for all the hard work they did to help bring this park to fruition in the middle of a pandemic with supply chains. And I think we had 30 inches of rain above normal last year, so that's always one of the biggest problems when you're doing a construction project, but we still got it done, and we're open for the spring season. We also had the Miracle League open on Saturday. That's the first time in 2 years that we've had the Miracle League start, and they had games there all day Saturday morning, so that was great. And then we had a fireworks display on Saturday night. So a busy a weekend in the county with all our parks open, and we had some great turnout, so really appreciate that. We've got more to come, though. We're going to be opening our courthouse, Rocky Face Ridge Park, and our new animal shelter. They will kill me if I give a date, so I'll just say really soon that these will be opening. Could be next month, some of them, I won't say, but stay tuned, and certainly we'll have some announcements at our next meeting on some or all of these openings soon. But they are all moving along very nicely and getting close to having a grand opening for these as well. So there's more to come. A little bit later tonight, like I mentioned, the courthouse, we're getting ready to open that here in the next few weeks. We've got an agreement with a citizen who owns about 20-plus pieces of artwork, Robert Webb, and we're going to vote to approve a long-term loan agreement to be able to hang art throughout the courthouse. So not only will we have a new modern courthouse, but there'll be some nice things to see in there. A lot of times you go to the courthouse, it's not always for a pleasant reason, but we hope you'll come out and this is the people's courthouse, so we'll have some art on display and you can enjoy that as opposed to just coming down there to do business solely. Commissioners, I'll start with Commissioner Jones. Anything to report?
Yeah, last week it was raining, so I couldn't work, so I went out to the road department and asking about, just different things, and there's some needs at you mentioned the Rocky Face Ridge Park, so we're gonna have some things coming up that we need to address there with a side-by-side that won't stop coming downhill and some other items, but
Yeah.
we need to look at those.
Definitely, yep. We got to give them the tools to keep the parks open, that's for
Right.
sure. Commissioner Thomas? Commissioner Staton?
Yes, sir. I'd just like to commend everybody that had anything to do with the grand opening of River Bend Park. If you haven't been out there yet, you've got to go. That place is amazing.
It is. Commissioner Robbins?
No report this time.
Okay. All right, our county administrator will come forward.
I guess to turn the mic on. But I thought this was going to do that for me.
Yeah. You'll be, all the cool kids have them.
Why don't you come over here and show me how to turn the mic on?
It's on top. It's a
Push
slide.
it up.
Push it up. On the top. There you go, somewhere around there.
All right, okay. I have a graduate school degree, but they didn't offer any class in microphone technology. I want to tag on to what Commissioner Staton said. We have some folks here from the Riverbend Park team. Brian, do you want to? Where's Brian at? Come on down here, and I'd like you to introduce your team, because I think
Yeah, I don't know if DeWitt's here. He did a great job.
the weekend was just a spectacular success, and let's go with this. So, Brian, why don't you take the mic and.
Well, unfortunately, everyone couldn't be here because today is our opening day for regular season. So I did get Debbie Roper. Of course, everybody knows Debbie to swing by, but Debbie
Right.
and DeWitt Morrison and Ryan Hollingsworth and just our whole staff pretty much all teamed together, along with the Marine Corps. I can't think of the actual.
Corporal Glenn Pear,
And Todd.
Attachment 1309, Marine Corps League.
There you go. So it was kind of a joint partnership with those guys to come in and do the Wounded Warriors USA Patriots game. And if you didn't watch those guys play, that was amazing to watch those guys play. So
It was a close game. We almost pulled it out at the end, but
we lost. Well, our employees did lose. I hate to say, but hey, they had a good time. But now we did get vengeance the next night, so we did beat them the next night. So we went 1-1 for the weekend. So we feel good about that. But that'll give them more encouragement maybe to come back here in the future. But all in all, I do want to brag on my staff. They just performed above and beyond. I mean, we had a lot of tasks, a lot of things to get done, and a lot of areas to cover, and we did it in a short time. As you guys know, we set this date a year ago pretty much, but then when we got closer to the end, it was almost like we probably need to cancel this, but then we decided not to and just keep pushing just because of the Patriots coming to town. So we had to push hard and push our contractors hard, and so that they all came through though. So we finished well. And again, if you didn't go out and see, if you don't go look at that park, you're missing out. It's a beautiful park, and it's something that we can all be very, very, very proud of.
Yep.
Debbie, you want to say anything?
Oh, I'm good. I'm just proud that our staff was able to do what we did this past weekend, and the building is just beautiful.
Yep. Thank
Looking
you so
forward
much.
to serving the community with more options.
Y'all, 10 years ring a bell to anybody up there? 10? Can I get a 10-year? I mean,
10 day. One thing that we didn't really cover is that we're going to allow nonprofits to use those community rooms at no charge. So It'll be a true community center. If nonprofits want to hold their meetings, planning sessions, board meetings, whatever, at that brand new facility, they're welcome.
And that it is, in fact, we already have a neighborhood association booked for a meeting out there as well. I will say, just to talk about that ball game, we lost by a score of 24-8.
Not too close.
From my observation as a little league ball player and played ball with a fellow who went to pitch for the Pittsburgh Pirates, so I've got something going there. I believe at least 12 of those runs were a result of bad fielding. So if we work on that, I think we can do better next year. All right, enough of that. I do want to talk about a couple of, and this is also good news. A couple of weekends ago, Whitfield County team, including Brian Chastain, we hosted a group of historians and videographers from the American Battlefield Trust in Washington. The American Battlefield Trust, if you're not familiar with it, they preserve battlefields, not just for the Civil War, but also for the Revolutionary War and the War of 1812 throughout the country. They were down here to tour, not only here in Dalton, Whitfield County, but they were retracing the steps for General Sherman's Atlanta campaign and March to the Sea. They're taking a videotape which will be used on their website, and in fact, some of it's already up there, and may be used for other purposes as well. In the past, some of their video has been used by the History Channel in their documentaries. So they were here for, I believe, 2 days. We were up at Tunnel Hill. We had them go into the Clisby-Austin House and the railroad tunnel. And then we went down to Rocky Face Ridge and we ascended to the top of the mountain. And along the way, they were filming and doing historical commentary on the various fortifications and activities as far as which units were where, what the actions were, where General Sherman was watching the whole thing. And it's very important that, in my view as an outsider, I've always felt that the low-hanging fruit for economic development is tourism, because you don't have to build a lot of things. The idea is to get people here to spend their money here. And we have a lot going on for tourism, not just for the outdoor activities such as we were talking about with Riverbend Park, but this is a place that is just full of history, and there are a lot of people in this country who appreciate that. And the reason why I'm saying all this is I spoke to a gentleman on the phone today from Indianapolis whose ancestors were fought in the Army of the Cumberland, so he was on the north side. But he's a member of the American Battlefield Trust, and I'll go ahead and put a shout out to them. Their website is battlefields.org. Those videos are now beginning to show up on the Battlefield Trust website, so you can go ahead and watch them at your leisure later on. I don't want the employees watching it on their iPhones. I want them paying attention to the meeting. But as a result of those videos, this fellow is coming down here because he wants to see where his ancestors fought more than a century and a half ago. So these sorts of things are bearing fruit. So we hope to be able to do more for that and to promote a Rocky Face Ridge Park and to get the tourism traffic, and I don't mean to sound crass as far as the economic aspect of it, but I would like to see this place to be as popular as Chickamauga, and there's no reason why it shouldn't be. The second thing I want to talk about is the census review. I hear a lot of talk about how in the last 10 years there was very minor growth in population for Whitfield County. I think the figure is 256 people or something like that. Chairman Jensen got some notice from the Census Bureau and passed it on down the line. And we are so to speak, appealing or asking for a review of our census, our 2020 census numbers. Now, the bad news is by law, those census numbers have been accepted and they are official. However, the Census Bureau is willing to look at things for their census estimates going forward. And you may notice that the U.S. Census Bureau will provide estimates every year or two for different local jurisdictions. And that's important, maybe not so much with government reapportionment for congressional districts, et cetera, but it does affect whether or not companies in the private sector are going to locate here. One of the things that we noticed, and I'm working with Jess Hansen at GIS, and we're working with the Northwest Georgia Regional Commission, one of the things that we noticed is over the last 10 years, from 2010 to 2020, the Census Bureau had 1,000 less housing units here in Whitfield County, and that's just patently wrong. And I know that the pandemic was going on and a lot of things fell through the cracks. So we're taking a look at that. We want to go ahead and get those numbers corrected going forward for the census estimates as we eventually get to 2030 in the next census. So we hope to be successful there. The other thing I wanted to discuss was last Thursday, a team including Val Molina, who's here tonight, was at Georgia Northwestern Technical College for a career fair. As you know, every employer, private sector, public sector, is struggling mightily to hire and retain qualified talent. I'm not making any promises there, but I do know that if we don't do anything and we don't make an effort to get people to work here and quality people and to get them to stay, we're going to be unsuccessful. So we are beating the bushes for talent and to showcase Whitfield County government as a place where people want to work and want to make their career. The last thing, and then I'll go ahead and sit down, is this morning I met with our new Chamber of Commerce CEO, Jason Mock, who came from the Austin, Texas area. Jason came from Austin, which is a good example. It has a very diverse economy in terms of tech. All the California tech companies are moving to Texas. And it's also a town with a lot of amenities, particularly in the area of live music, the live music capital of the world. And I think he has some good ideas here for Dalton-Whitfield County. So I'm looking forward to a very fruitful and productive long-term relationship with Jason. That's all I have, gentlemen, unless you have questions.
Any questions for our administrator? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our finance director will come forward, Mr. Garvin.
Local option sales tax and TAVT, you can see there, are not quite 16% higher than the same time frame over last year. So far, that continues very strong. Year-to-date revenue was just 1.5% below what was projected, and that is mainly due to building permits issued, various charges for services, and some intergovernmental revenues that were slightly below projections to date. And our expenses were up 1% over last year, but they actually are basically on budget, about $76,000 below what was projected through this same time frame. So we see kind of the same information, but when you look at it graphically in this way, the increase from current year to prior year, at least through this point in time, was mainly due to the TAVT loss. Our largest monthly drivers, largest drivers other than property taxes actually, and they continue strong. And our expenditures, basically, again, were on budget, about $76,000 less than what was projected. And so here you see those revenues that were a little bit less, expenditures that were a little less than projected, and the expenditures being slightly under what was projected just about offset the revenue being a little bit less. And we cut a deficit from last month, I don't remember, 100 and something thousand, to right there at 8,000 as of this month. So we see our actual declining, not by a huge amount yet, but as we've talked about and happens, and will happen until the property tax cycle much later on this year, toward the end of this year, that the actual fund balance begins to drop. And we're dealing with projections based on how well we can hold to the budget and how well our revenues, which we really can't control, continue to do for us. So we're estimating about 28.8 if everything were to just hold the line from here on out. We're at about 27 million, beginning to drop actual. So the SPLOST bonded projects, we're expending those. We're running, depleting those rapidly as we near the end of some of our largest bonded projects. Our best ones the park, and the courthouse renovations. So we had the usable funds of 26.2, and we've expended 20 million to date. And this is the actual SPOS receipts, not a bond issued ahead of time. We're at 29.6 million. Project expenditures of 12 million, which we mentioned includes payouts to the 4 municipalities within the county. And then our bond debt service, we made the first of 2 interest and 1 principal payments for this year, April 1st of just under 100,000. The interest rate was so great that it's just, I mean, that's amazing. But we made that first interest payment. We're still in the set-aside phase of SPOS receipts for this year, and we've set aside and paid 12.4 million.
Any other comments or any questions for our finance director?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Jones to approve the finance report as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. Thank you. All right, this is our first of 2 public comment options. This one is related to only items on the agenda, so if you saw something on the agenda at the beginning of the meeting that you have a question about, or you have strong feelings, either way, we are happy to hear your comments or questions about any agenda items. And later in the meeting, we'll have a session where you can give us your comments or feedback on any topic. Doesn't matter if it's on the agenda or not, but this one is for agenda only. Anyone rushing to the microphone? Okay, we'll move ahead. This is a second reading. We had this last month as our first reading for a new ordinance related to the temporary use of RVs or campers for the purpose of living on your property while you construct a permanent residence. There's been a lot of issues with supply chain, people being able to sell their homes very easily, but the homes that they want to go to or build may take anywhere from 6 to 12, 15 months to complete, and they have nowhere to live. And there's not a lot of apartments in Whitfield County that you can lease, either. So we came up with this option. You can get a permit, a temporary living arrangement in a recreational vehicle. We limit the number of people, we limit the time frame, but while you're actively building your home, you can keep an eye on your property, on your materials while you're building it, as well as have a place to live. Did anybody get any feedback from the public on this ordinance, or have any changes from the first reading?
I don't think the time's long enough on it.
What does it say?
Days,
12?
I think that'll be 12 months. Because you can't get materials.
Right.
Can't get windows, doors.
Agree. I was thinking at least 9 months. I mean, because, you can't get things right now.
Our county attorney, any questions, any concerns changing that time frame? Whatever you like. Just make sure that I wouldn't miss anything.
12.
Is there a motion to approve the ordinance changing the time frame to 12 months?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Jones. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay? Okay, passes on a 4-0 vote. All right, this is a new ordinance, so this is a first reading. We're not going to take any action, but we want to post it on our website to communicate it to the public, again, so they can give us some feedback. Sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't. I believe this actually originated from a citizen's request on the south side. A lot of trucks coming off I-75 are using the jag brakes and the loud braking, which we would not allow in the county. Several cities in Whitfield County have already eliminated the use of those braking systems, but we would also, avoid those or disable those systems once you're even in the unincorporated port of Whitfield County, if this would pass. Did everybody have a time to look over it, or any questions about it initially? Although we're not gonna vote on it, it's just to let everybody know that we're considering it. Okay. Please take a look at it. It's a very short ordinance on the website, again, just to limit the engine braking in the unincorporated county. All right, this is the alcohol and beverage permit application that we had a public hearing on earlier. We are now ready to vote. Any questions? I know it passed the sheriff's background check prior to this meeting, so if there's any concerns, or is there a motion to approve beverage license for Roadrunners and Brenda Patel?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Jones to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Staton. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. All right, we have a reappointment to the Whitfield County Board of Health. Thomas Bartley, our Director of the Health, did recommend another 6-year term, and Mr. Bartley has agreed to that through 2027. Is there a motion to accept the reappointment?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Thomas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. Okay, we have one rezoning request from Karen Rourke on this parcel. The original request, I think, was
R2 to R5.
yeah, it was
and then
R5, but after explanation and the recommendation of staff and the Planning and Zoning Board, they approved unanimously to change it to SA, which is actually in her benefit as far as long-term being able to sell the property, although she says she has no intention of it, but at least she has that flexibility. Basically to keep horses on a fenced-in field. That's all it amounts to. Is there a motion to approve the Planning Commission's rezone to an SA?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Thomas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. This is another first reading. This has already passed the City of Dalton, but they would like to amend the Unified Zoning Ordinance, so we would have to have 2 readings of that as well. But this affects the dwelling size, of course, only in the City of Dalton. That's all that they have oversight of for multifamily residents. So they're trying to encourage those in the Dalton city. But they're part of our zoning, and so we have to also approve any changes to the ordinance, even though it only applies to the City of Dalton. Anybody have any initial questions or concerns about this so far? I don't think the Planning and Zoning had any issue. They supported it as well. But no action on this one. Varnell annexation. There's one parcel for Varnell. I don't know any land use objections were noted for this one. Is there a motion to approve this annexation by the City of Varnell?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Staton. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. Tunnel Hill also has 4, is that right? 1, 2, yeah, 4 parcels that they would like to annex into the City of Tunnel Hill. There was no land use objections noted.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Jones to approve annexation in Tunnel Hill. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. This is the budget amendment I referred to earlier. This is for last year, 2021. So we have reviewed with our auditors. Again, all of these items were voted for, but if you're over budget or under budget by $1, or if you need to move surpluses around, a lot of these things we voted on in December, but now we have to vote to actually amend the budget, even though we voted for the expenditure back in December. And then there was a lot of final journal entries for 2021 to close out the year. No impact on the bottom line as far as the surplus that I'm aware of. that we had. And of course, we put a lot of that money into retirement, which these journal entries are related to that. So we prepaid our pension fund with some of our surplus, and also our capital project fund. So we moved money in there, and those are included in these budget amendments. Did anybody have any concerns with those, the budget list?
So to be clear, they did the pension funding by
You have to do it by
departments.
department. So we approved the amount. He had to go back and calculate by person, by department, which is obviously a big chore. And that's what these amendments are. Most of them are related to that.
Okay, and then, Commissioner Staton, you mind if I just go ahead and mention this, additional audit procedures? If we sign the contract with the firm, why is the additional audit procedure $49.50? If there's already a contract, I think I'm reading that
Oh,
correctly.
a fixed price contract? I don't know that it's fixed price, but.
$49.50 for, we're looking at by category. Mr. Garvin, any explanation there, or do we need to remove that since we already have a contract with the firm?
The state retirement, employees' retirement, they're audited as well. Their auditors randomly select, not sub-auditees, but say the local entities which have participants in that plan. Whitfield County was randomly selected as one, and I investigated the option of could we really refuse to not participate because there would be some measure of additional cost. And that's what that arose from. Our auditors had to conduct additional procedures to provide assurance like they do for us to the state plan that the information the state plan had and was having audited was correct with respect to Whitfield County. And there are multiple local government units that are audited each year, not audited, they're selected in this manner randomly by the state plan's auditors. So this was approved, but was not an expected cost. It was not an overrun per se of what the board approved and agreed upon previously with the auditors for the county's audit, but it wound up being an adjunct or additional procedure.
It was outside the scope of our normal audit agreement, but it was demanded by the state.
And wasn't really, right, it wasn't really applicable to us so
scope.
much as the participants with us who were in the state plan.
Do what?
The state-funded, unfunded mandate, we'd like to call it. But we don't expect it to happen this year.
No.
Unless we get really unlucky and get it twice.
It is supposed to be a random selection, and there are ways of doing that mathematically where you have a sample size.
Yeah.
But I would be, and I choose this word carefully, stunned if they came back and said again, tag, you're it.
Yeah. Any other questions about the list of amendments? Can you do it next year, Robbie, for us, just to save us a little money? Would that be okay? I don't know if that's a conflict or not. Any other questions?
I don't think so. Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the 2021 budget amendments?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Thomas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. Public Works, as I appreciate the heads up. Obviously, we all see the prices of gas are going up, and they are big consumers as they mow our right-of-ways and pave our streets and answer calls and things like that to clean up after storms, et cetera. Their budget was or is $225,000 for 2022. And of course, this is not the heavy season, but they've spent approximately $98,000, a little over $98,000 year to date, with of course the summer season being expected to be more. The question, I guess, for us, and I certainly don't have a preference, is do we continue to monitor it, knowing that the price of gas, as you can see, is a little less than double what it was last year? Maybe it'll come down, maybe it won't. I don't think we pay state tax ever, but of course the citizens are getting the benefit of not paying state tax for the next 30 days, but I don't believe we pay any kind of federal or state taxes on our fuel. But those prices are, I believe, after taxes are applied. We could amend their budget now, or we can monitor it for another couple of months, get to the midpoint, and see if he's used the entire budget or not. That's certainly not going to hold anybody accountable for hitting a budget they have no control over, the price of diesel or gas, so I understand that.
We gotta have it regardless.
Right. And that was the other point. I just made the motion
And,
there that we
it's
still
not
want to
gon-
continue with our mowing. We still want to continue with our hopefully our goal of 30 miles.
It's
But
not gonna be long till the sheriff's here too.
oh, with his yeah, he uses more gas than probably Public Works, right?
Yeah, I don't think I want to keep
Amend it yet.
adjusting it every month, because it's not going down anytime soon.
Right. Do you want to make an adjustment now, or wait till we get mid-year and see what we need to forecast for the rest of the year, or what's your timing?
We know it's going up, I'd just go ahead and do it now.
Yeah, they're not, I mean,
You
they're
have a
not gonna
problem with
use
that?
it more if we do it now.
Okay. I think the request, what was the request, Mr. Hunt? 200,000 additional?
300, looks like.
3,
Okay.
300.
yeah.
So that would take his diesel and fuel budget to 525.
I don't see any problem doing it to you,
Real close to 300.
just because it's
Yep.
going,
I don't see that.
not coming down.
All right, let's go ahead and do it. Make a motion to approve.
Second,
Motion to approve a budget of $525,000 for 2022, second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. We will have a way to fund this in a moment, so never fear. So we've got two items here combined, one for Truist Bank and Bank of the Ozarks. I think our county administrator is working out pretty well, so it has been the tradition that he has signature authority on those accounts in case there's some emergency that comes up during the business day. Is there an approval to allow signature updates for those two bank signature cards?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Thomas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Staton. And there's no problems with this, our fearless bank employee down there? You're good with that?
no comment.
No comment. Those banks, he doesn't recognize those banks in existence. It's not the Build Better Bank, is it, though? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. Agenda items 21 and 22. This is part of our sewer expansion. This was obviously in the plans when the SPLOST was approved in 2020. And so we have one, which is Carbondale. That was on the original plan. And then we've also since then done a plan and gotten a quote for Crider Road, which runs from Crider Road past the West Side Middle School, or West Side Elementary, over to Miracle Field. That one was not specifically called out in the SPLOST, so I don't want to charge it to there at this time, even though I think we'll have a surplus in the SPLOST. But the Carbondale was, and then the Crider Road we would charge to the ARP funds. These numbers are a little old, October of last year, so I would also suggest a contingency as we get the final prices and start dates from Dalton Utilities. But those would be the costs: $1,062,000 and $1.4 million for Crider Road expansions. On Carbondale, there's a lot of commercial property and some residential that just does not perk at all down there on the south side. So we've been expanding in the north for several years now. I think it's only fair we expand on the south side. And then on the Crider Road, that's on the west side, the middle school or the elementary school pays tens of thousands of dollars a year in pump fees because their septic, they don't have a septic tank that has to be pumped out each week. That's very expensive. And then our Miracle Field also is in need of sewers as we look to expand the restrooms and the additional fields out there too. And there's also some restaurants we hope will come if we build the sewers. So it's certainly worked that way out in the north. So we hope there'll be some additional restaurants on the west side after the sewers are completed.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Jones to approve Carbondale with 2020 SPLOST and Crider Road against ARPA with a 10% contingency. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. All right, this is a IGA with the City of Dalton, also affectionately known as a TAD agreement for Hammond Creek. These are new apartment complex. There would be a sharing arrangement where we would actually increase our revenues to the county. Today we get approximately $1,000 for this land. That would go to $110,000 over the first 10 years. That would be new revenue to the county. There's not been any apartments built in the City of Dalton for many years, and so this would encourage them. I'm told the project will not occur without the county's approval. Both the Board of Education and the City of Dalton unanimously approved the agreement. Is there a motion, or do we want to discuss first?
You just have to make a motion and then have discussion.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I'll
we'll
make-
do that too. Yeah.
I make a
Either way.
motion.
Motion to approve the agreement by Commissioner Robbins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Staton. Further discussion?
We've heard,
There's,
You
I
know-
think, currently 4 TADs in the City of Dalton that previous boards, not this board, but previous boards have approved.
now this, it's not anything against any development.
Mhm.
It's just, we put this on the ballot last March, and it failed in the county. So the county taxpayers have spoken, and, I can't vote for something that they told us no on. And if we do this and keep doing it, they're gonna get where they don't trust us. So, anyway,
Gotcha.
that's that, I've said my piece.
Fair enough. Other discussion?
With this agreement originating by the City of Dalton and approved also by the City Council and the City of Dalton Board of Education, those voters also live within Whitfield County, and I think because of the improvement, the increase of tax revenue that will be forthcoming to the county, that's why, and I've always allocated for redevelopment powers in my 2 terms campaigning, and so that's the reason I think this is warranted by the county. I think our entire county needs some better housing. We need, this will expand also to a commercial area and bring in substantial more sales tax and taxes to the county, not only to the city in this particular case, but and the Board of Education for Dalton.
Any other comments or suggestions? The developer is here if we need to ask any specific questions that you guys haven't answered. Give everybody a chance to talk if you need to.
We just got to be careful about incentives we give out. And I do agree, I think it's a good project, but it's just not right for me to vote for it.
Okay.
Yeah, when it says redevelopment powers, redevelopment to me is a blighted area, and raw land is not blighted areas.
Any further comments? All right, going once, I'll call for a vote. Is there a call to question?
Call for the question.
All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. 2-4. All in favor, all against or opposed? 2 against. I will vote in favor because we have always supported the City of Dalton taxpayers and their voters, and they approved the TAD. It passes on a 3-2 vote. This is the courthouse artwork that we discussed earlier. Robert Webb, again, is providing it at no cost, a long-term agreement. Of course, we have to protect it and maintain it, but no additional effort on our part. I think it'd be a nice addition to our courthouse, especially after the remodel. Is there a motion to approve the agreement with Robert Webb for the artwork?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Thomas. Is there a second?
I got a question. Are we insuring this stuff?
Our attorney reviewed it with ACCG, and it's covered under
Okay,
insurance. Yeah,
okay.
that's a very good question. He did a lot of research for me on that.
Okay.
Most of the artwork is just estimated value is about $2,500 a piece. So there's nothing that's, hundreds of thousands in
Yeah.
total, but it does add up over if the
Yeah.
whole courthouse burned to the ground.
Yeah.
But it is covered under our insurance policy. Very good question.
Okay, well, I'll make a second.
Second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. I like those better. We've got two requests. I combined them here for the Whitfield County Schools. Both of them are for basically the new school construction. One is in front of North Whitfield Middle School, and one is where we're doing construction on Hill Road over there by Eastside Elementary. There's a very small little strip of land that they would like conveyed to them, and of course they will maintain that. There's no profit or no money to be changed hands, but those two parcels are basically on their property, and they would like us turned over to them after the construction and the roads were put in. Any concerns or questions about the conveyance?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Staton. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. ARP expenditures, I mentioned this a little bit earlier. We had a $10 million basically standard deduction, much like you would take at on your own taxes. You can take a standard deduction for your individual taxes. We did that with ARP for $10 million. Since then, there's been some rumblings and rumors about, well, if these cities and counties aren't going to spend the money, the Congress will claw it back. Even though we allocated $10 million, we technically haven't spent that. So we would, in consultation with our county administrator and grant administrator, would like to dedicate $3 million plus $87,500 for premium pay towards our current payroll. Again, we're not increasing our payroll by that amount, but we're applying it, so that will, in essence, give us a $3 million surplus for 2022. There's we can't repeat that, so it's not an ongoing surplus, but it'll be a one-time surplus towards our budget, and that's totally legal, and it can't be clawed back once it's applied towards our payroll. So we'll have an immediate surplus of a little over $3 million, and that goes towards such as our sheriff and detention payroll and our premium pay budgets. Again, we're not adding personnel or anything like that. We're reimbursing ourselves for 3.087, I should say.
This is the first 10 million, right?
Yes, we should get our second allocation in May, so a little over a month from now, but second and final. Well, yeah, we've spent about 5.6, a little less than 6 million, yeah.
April 21st.
And again, this is spending it, but it's really not out the door. But it's as far as the paperwork and the Congress is concerned, it'll be considered spent, so they can't claw it back. I don't know that they will, but then they won't be able to at this point. And we can, of course, use some of this surplus to pay for the diesel and the extra fuel charges.
Could you clarify the statement here that next to the last line about employees will be receiving $3,000 as a type of retroactive pay for April 21 through March of 20?
There's no funds being directed to employees other than their normal salaries that they're already getting.
But April through April 21?
To get to the 3 million, we probably had to go all the way back to the beginning of the ARP, which was last year, March or April of last year. Yeah, you have to show the people and put it in a spreadsheet that what we're reimbursing ourselves for.
Okay, through March March of 20.
Carol, you want to explain that further? I'm not the expert on the 400-page ARPA regulations.
Yes, so the pay that you're referring to is actually for the public defenders and the DA's office. It was actually something that came down from the state for some increases that are going on at the state level. They are retroing the increases backwards, okay? So as a one-time payment. But in order for us to pay it, we're legally allowed to call it premium pay if we want, because they're just making us do it. But we're going to allocate it as if it's premium pay because we're going to pay it anyway. And that allows us to use it out of ARPA.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry, yeah.
it's-
That's the 87,500 that she's
Yes.
talking about. The 3 million is separate, but yeah, the 87,500, there's state mandated pay increases that they passed in the legislative session. That's what she's talking about. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So they gave pay increases to every state employee, so we might as well pay out of this for that.
And they retroed some of it back. So because of the way premium pay is allowed to be used, they qualify as premium pay employees.
Because it's a lump sum, basically.
And that time frame matches up as well. So instead of just having it hit the general fund, we're suggesting that we use ARPA money to allocate it. Either way, the county's gonna have
And
to
the
pay
dates
it.
go backwards?
Yes, the state just,
That's
for
another
whatever
state
reason.
unfunded mandate. We're paying it for state paid employees.
They're good at that.
Yeah, they're experts at that.
Thank you very much.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the 3 million plus the 87,500 premium pay under ARPA. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. All right, again, the second or final ARPA expense, if you remember, we gave the firefighters a supplement, a bonus pay last year. There was 5 firefighters that were, I should say, I don't really want to say in process because they had actually completed it, but they hadn't gotten their certification. They hadn't gotten their official notice back that they were certified firefighters, so they did not receive the pay, even though on the date they had already completed all the training successfully. They later got their certification, but we never paid them. So this is a catch-up of $5,000 plus taxes for those 5 firefighters that are still in our employ and just recently got their certifications.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins to approve the bonus pay. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Staton. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. We've got a grant. If you remember, part of our strategy is to apply for more grants. I don't care how many we lose. We keep applying. It just makes us work harder and try for more grants. So we just opened Riverbend Park, but if you notice, there's no playground equipment. So we'd like to apply for a hometown grant from Kabuto Company of up to $100,000, 5 grants each for playground equipment. We'll find out later this summer if you guys approve us applying.
That's from Kubota.
Kubota?
Kubota.
Is that part of international?
No, I don't know.
Somebody,
I don't know.
Well, we bet
I-
there's a
it's
chance
spelled
of
right?
some money.
I'll call them anything they want to be called if they give us
Yeah,
$500,000.
that's right. That's right.
Motion to approve.
So I guess that's a heavy equipment manufacturer then. I didn't know it was the same
Kubota
company.
does tractors and
Yeah,
equipment.
tractors.
so I don't
Motion by Commissioner Staton to apply for the Kabuto grants.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. All right, we've got our EMA. This is our mobile command unit. It's getting old, but it's an oldie but a goodie. It does need some repairs, though, to the lighting and the leveling. But a new one is $1 million+, so $50,000 sounds like a lot, but compared to buying something new, I think it may be worth repairing.
I make a motion to approve.
Where do we need to get this from? From Capital? I forgot to make a note of that.
It's
Oh, yeah. Yeah, thank you. So motion by Commissioner Jones to, this is the sole source because they're the equipment manufacturer, so we have to go back to them for these repairs for $50,000 to Capital.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Passes on a 4-0 vote. All right, Public Works, we've been doing a little bit in our SPLOS tonight. So we've got 5 bridges. Director Hunt, you want to go over some of these?
We identified these bridges about 5 years ago and kind of been on a methodical process to improve the bridges that we could improve and then, go into the replacement cycle with bridges that we got to, fully replace. So these 5 bridges will be improved to remove any restrictions that you would see posted on it, for tonnage. And that's what's going to happen here. The bad news on the list is Donville Road is a temporary repair, and sometime in the next 5 or so years, it needs to be a full replacement. But it needs some work now just to carry it through the next 5 years.
That's what I was going to ask, because that's the curved bridge that's basically going to be replaced, right?
Yes. But it's going to be more in the 2-point mil range, probably.
Yeah, we're looking for a grant for that one.
Right. This is a drop in the bucket. So when we identified this a few years ago, it was about $100,000 worth of work, but bidding it in 2022, it turned out to be 1.8. Some of those numbers have been inflated through the last 12 or 18. Just speaking with our bridge engineer, Randy Boykin down at Heath and Lineback, he's been with us through the entire process and very knowledgeable on our bridges and bridges around the state of Georgia. So he's got prices from everybody. He thought this was a little inflated, but the question is, where would we go? What would we do? And according to him, he doesn't think it's going to get a lot,
Cheaper
a lot cheaper no matter how many times we bid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did see quite a few bids. I appreciate you getting multiple bids on this, and it was by far the cheapest. I mean, it wasn't even close as far as the multiple bids.
Yeah, I
that you
think some folks bid it without really wanting to get the job.
They must not. They built 3-4 million, whatever it was.
So we've talked to other folks. This is a kind of a conglomerate company. They're going to hire subs to come in and work for the E&D, but they've done work that Randy's familiar with.
Okay.
They've been on different projects that he's comfortable with. So his recommendation is that we go with a low bid.
Is there a motion to approve the 5 bridge rehab for $1.88 million per the 2020 SPLOS? These were all on the SPLOS project plan.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Jones. Did you guys want to discuss further, have a question?
He's got
No, I've got-
something else.
That's something else.
Just
Sorry.
don't leave yet, Dwayne.
Okay.
All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote.
Okay, thank you for that. We also just, FYI, we pulled, I think it was like 90 or 100,000 out of this that we can do our work ourselves, Public Works. We're going to do some milling, some paving, and we're going to do the traffic control for the contractor.
Okay.
So it's, not a lot, but it's something.
It's something, yep.
Yep.
Go ahead.
With the Rocky Face Ridge coming up, I know it's going to need some attention as it's opened up and maintenance and all. What are your thoughts on that?
I sent
Additional
one sheet,
equipment or anything?
I sent a one sheet PowerPoint to you guys this past week. What we talked about for the last 2 years is like, hey, Rocky Face Ridge is coming. We need to get the crew that's going to man the park, that's going to do the maintenance, because that'll be a full-time job along with some other areas like Potato Ridge Park, State Patrol Barracks Park. Those are some areas that they would leave and go work on and then come back to Rocky Face Ridge. But with the 9 miles of bike trail that's in a rugged terrain, we've got a huge amount of liability that if we go out and check it on Monday and we walk away from that park and somebody gets injured on that trail later in the week, or they can't use it because trees or limbs may have fallen across it, it becomes, just a bad maintained park. The things that we've been able to do is we take care of Westside Park, Edwards Park, and we've upped the level of maintenance over the last 5 to 7 years on those facilities. So what my suggestion is, if we're going to treat Rocky Face Ridge as and I think it truly is a regional facility from a historical aspect, from a recreational aspect, it's going to take at least a couple of guys and the equipment that I laid out for you so that we can check the trail daily, so that we can clear limbs and what they call slappers, limbs that hit folks in the face, or just large trees that are laying over the trail that make it unusable. And there's parts of that trail that if it's not maintained, that there's not a good place to run off the top of that ridge on, off the trail on a bicycle. There's some areas that need to be checked routinely so that we know the people that use that have the safest experience as they can. I mean, it's a risk to go across that trail. We need to make the trail safe as we can. It's going to take daily maintenance to do that. So that's my recommendation, is that I'd ask in 2021 for, I made a two-man crew. I took one of them out of Hyde, and I asked for another one on 2021 budget. It was denied. I asked again on 2022 budget. And so now we are about to open that park, and I've got one person that's working up there technically by themselves, or I got to take it out of Hyde again. So I just want to know what, the level of commitment from the board is. How do we want to maintain that park? And if we're going to do it, I got to have at least a minimum of 2 people that's committed to that piece of ground, and a few other projects I can give them, but I can't not let them check, the bike trail on a daily basis. That's got to be done. There's too much liability for the county.
I don't think you'd want one man up there on that mountain by himself anyway. I mean, if he has a problem,
As long as you got a radio, you got somebody at the foot that can come get him.
well, I mean, they really need to be up there together.
Do you want to do something on the equipment? I think it was 50,000, just over 50,000?
Yes.
I don't think we can vote on that tonight, Ed.
I don't know. It's not really Rocky Face Ridge, is
I mean, it's going to take us a few weeks to get it. That's why I was asking for it back in 21 and 22. Now,
Yep.
We're at that critical point. We're either going to be successful or we're going to start scrambling. And if I take them away from the other parks and the schools that we maintain, I'm going to get behind there. So it's kind of a catch-22 for me.
Well, we need to see if, I don't know if Brian has a person he wants to put over there as well, or team them up together.
I doubt if Brian's got any. He
To
just
open a
opened a
Riverbend.
new park.
We give them new people for Riverbend.
Think it, I know you wouldn't
You say you
be
got 4 you
asking
can
for it
give
if
us?
you didn't need it. And I don't know if we can do anything tonight, but
Can you amend it this late in the game?
well, can you wait another month?
Well, we
And,
can,
and let me make another point that you guys.
we can ratify
when-
it over
When
email.
you're managing a department out here for the county, and we're going to try to keep the department at minimal personnel.
Yep.
And I got 71 people. I guess this would take me to 72. I've been as high as 96, and it's went backwards through the years, and I'm just inking, just trying to inch it back up. But when I got 70 people on paper, I really have 63 people probably working. I'm going to have some person out for, some kind of injury. I'm going to have 2 or 3 or 4 out on PTO, because we have a ton of PTO that we give our employees because that's what we do. So 70 never shows up. So when we talk about having a 2-man crew up there, I'm still going to have to take some out of Hyde, because one of those 2 guys is going to be out every once in a while.
Yeah.
But the same with Brian. He's going to have guys. If he's got 6 guys, he's really got 5, technically. And that's what I've seen over the last 10 or 11 years, is we got the minimum number, and then we operate with less.
Okay. Well, we'll get you an answer. We won't have to wait till the
Okay.
next meeting. We'll get you an
Thanks
answer.
for bringing
'Cause
that up.
I want you to get the park open next month, so we'll get you an answer before then. Thank you. Parks and Rec, this is a ratify. We did approve this over email. We just had to put some gravel on the access road behind the park so we could get some big trucks in and out of there, provided emergency exit and also some storm drainage. So the change order was about $19,000. Just need the official approval that allowed us to get to the finish line on Riverbend Park.
Motion made.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins for his park.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Staton. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. Last item, I think, Chief O'Brien is to serve on our Georgia Regional 1 EMS Advisory Council, but we need to appoint him, I believe, for another term. And we got an approval letter for that. If I can have a motion to appoint
So
Chief Ed
moved.
O'Brien. Motion by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote.
We got one more.
Oh, yeah, I've got one more. Hill Road. This is the last of our 2007 SPLOS project. Mr. Benson, I think you've got $42,391 and some poles that Georgia Power missed, but we do ultimately have to move.
Yes, sir, that's correct. We did find a way, we think, today to eliminate one of those poles, so it'll be something less than 42,391. That's the maximum amount.
And we do have that left in the 2007 SPLOST, right? But this is the last
That's correct.
planned expenses for it.
That's right.
All right, a motion not to exceed $42,391 for the Georgia Power pole
Make
moves.
a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Jones, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote.
I'm glad to see that project on.
I know, that's been a long time coming. 2007, oh my gosh. Okay, this is our final public comments of the evening. It can be on any topic, something you just heard, or something that you would like to let us know your feelings on. Come forward, just tell us your name and address, please.
Good evening. I'm Jason Mock, the new President CEO of the Greater Dalton Chamber of Commerce. I currently live at 100 Valley Drive in Dalton, Georgia. I just want to take this opportunity to introduce myself to y'all and look forward to working with y'all in the coming weeks and months and years with a great partnership between our business community and our local government. So thank you for all that y'all do.
Okay, great to meet you. We'll come see you. Other public comments? Anything on your mind? All right, if no one else has any comments, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Jones. Thank you.